A Roman farmer 2,000 years ago woke up before sunrise. He worked the land with his hands. He ate what he grew. When the sun went down, he rested. He knew his neighbors. He knew his purpose. He knew, with complete certainty, what a good day looked like. Now look at you. You have a supercomputer in your pocket. Food arrives at your door in 20 minutes. You have access to every book ever written, every song ever recorded, every conversation happening anywhere on Earth, right now in real time. And yet, something feels off. You're more anxious than that Roman farmer ever was, more distracted, more overwhelmed, more uncertain about what a good day even looks like anymore. How did that happen? We were promised a deal. Every generation of the last 200 years was told the same thing: more technology, more convenience, more choice, and life will get better, easier, fuller. And in many ways, it did. We live longer. We're safer. We've eliminated diseases that once killed millions. We've connected the entire world. But somewhere in that race toward more, something got quietly left behind. Not something we can easily name, not something that shows up in economic data or productivity reports, something older than that. A sense of enoughness, a comfort with stillness, the ability to be fully present in a single moment without reaching for something else. We didn't notice we'd lost it because we were too busy gaining everything else. In 1970, a psychologist named Barry Schwartz began studying something strange. As Western societies became wealthier, as people gained more choices, more options, more freedom, they were reporting lower and lower levels of satisfaction. More choices, less happiness. How? Schwartz called it the paradox of choice. When you have 3 options, you can make a decision and feel good about it. When you have 300 options, you spend more time deciding, second-guess yourself more, feel less satisfied with whatever you chose, and spend the rest of the day wondering if you made the wrong call. The abundance that was supposed to free us was quietly exhausting us instead. But here's what's interesting. This isn't new knowledge. The Stoic philosophers of ancient Rome, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, spent their entire lives writing about this exact problem. Seneca wrote almost 2,000 years ago that most human suffering comes not from what we lack, but from wanting what we don't have. He called it the disease of more. The disease of more, written in the 1st century AD. We didn't listen. And it wasn't just the Stoics. The Japanese have a concept called ma, which roughly translates to negative space. The idea that emptiness is not absence but presence, that the space between things is as important as the things themselves. A Zen garden doesn't add more rocks to become more beautiful, it removes them. In 1845, a man named Henry David Thoreau walked into the woods near Walden Pond in Massachusetts and built himself a small cabin. He lived there for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. Not because he was running away from the world, but because, in his own words, he wanted to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, to discover what life had to teach, and not, when he came to die, discover that he had not lived. He wasn't rejecting progress. He was asking a question that progress had stopped asking. What is actually necessary? And here's the thing that stops me cold every time I think about it. Anthropologists who have studied modern hunter-gatherer communities, societies that still live much as humans did for 90% of our history, have found something that doesn't fit our assumptions. These people work, on average, between 3 and 5 hours a day to meet all their needs. The rest is community, rest, story, ritual, play. 3 to 5 hours. We invented automation, artificial intelligence, and the 40-hour work week, and somehow ended up with less time than the people we consider primitive. Something in that equation deserves a longer look. Now, I want to be careful here. This is not a video about rejecting modern life. I'm not going to tell you to delete your apps and move to a forest. I use the same technology you do. I believe in science and progress and the extraordinary things human ingenuity has built. But I think there's a difference, an important difference, between using complexity as a tool and being consumed by it. A hammer is a tool. You pick it up when you need it. You put it down when you don't. It doesn't follow you into the bedroom. It doesn't buzz at 2 a.m. It doesn't slowly convince you that you need to be holding it at all times to feel productive. Somewhere between the Roman farmer and the modern scrolling human, we stopped deciding how much was enough. We outsourced that decision to systems with a financial interest in us never feeling like we have enough. And we did it gradually enough that we barely noticed. The wisest people in history all arrived at the same conclusion, independently across different cultures, different centuries, different languages. Simplicity is not poverty. It is clarity. It is the deliberate choice to make room for what actually matters by removing what doesn't. So, here is the question I keep returning to. If the Stoics figured this out 2,000 years ago, if Thoreau figured it out in 1845, if the data on happiness and choice and overwhelm has been clear for decades, why is the world we built, with all our intelligence, all our progress, all our good intentions, pulling us in the exact opposite direction? And more importantly, what do we actually do about it? Not in theory, not as a philosophy, but on a Tuesday morning when your phone has 47 notifications and your inbox is full and your calendar is blocked from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and somewhere underneath all of it, a quiet part of you is asking if this is really what you signed up for. I don't have a clean answer. But I think the question itself is worth sitting with. And I think the people who asked it before us, the farmers and the philosophers and the poets and the wanderers, left us more useful guidance than we've been willing to admit. That's what this channel is for. We're going to look at the modern world honestly, curiously, without nostalgia, and ask what the ancient world already knew about health, about technology, about community, about meaning, about what it actually feels like to be human in a time that's moving faster than our nervous systems were designed to handle. Not to go back, but to move forward with our roots intact. Welcome to Code and Clay. If this landed with you, subscribe. New perspective every week. And if you know someone who needed to hear this today, send it to them.